I'm here at the request of the Canadian Wood Council, CWC, and I did a number of research papers at their request on how buildings perform under fire conditions, specifically around mid-rise construction, the new construction that occurred or was actually initiated in 2007 in British Columbia. And I did a number of retrospective studies on existing wood frame buildings to be able to forecast how they would perform going forward in a new building code environment. And I'm sharing that information with individuals. It's evidence-led and it's research-led, and it gives the engineers and architects who are here today a perspective about how the systems perform retrospectively. What the study did, it was done in 2011, 2012, and it looked at 5 years retrospectively of fires that occurred in British Columbia in existing wood frame construction that would be similar to what the new mid-rise construction portrays. And what we did is we looked at how fires spread and what the vulnerabilities are. And we found two main vulnerabilities: one's that fires that occur on balconies, and two, fires that start during the construction stages. And both of those issues have been addressed in the new building standards of the NRC, has come out with a building code now that focuses on building construction, and it also amends the sprinkler regulations to allow for sprinklers on balconies and closed cavities, and those were vulnerabilities that we saw in this research. That building code changes have addressed those. So our findings and our conclusions are that these buildings will be safe, if not safer, than the existing construction that we have today. So that's what we've been telling our colleagues and showing them through the evidence-led research that we've conducted. There was another question that was asked retrospectively in saying, well, if a building made of wood is fire spreads differently than, say, building that was made of steel, or buildings that were made of concrete, or buildings that were open. And so what we did is we analyzed all of those fires by construction type in British Columbia over a 5-year period, and we found out that the building construction type did not have anything to do with the fire spread, didn't have anything to do with deaths, didn't have anything to do with injuries. They were all basically by population exactly the same. In a sprinklered environment, which these buildings are, fires get contained to the room of origin. They almost never leave the room of origin, and basically the skin or the membrane of the drywall almost never gets penetrated in a sprinklered environment. So as long as the safety systems are in place and they're working, you can compare these to any other building, whether it's concrete, whether it's steel, whether it's open truss, it doesn't really matter. They'll behave exactly the same. It looks at the major causes of construction fires and what those are. We've just finished an international literature review and designed and developed a best practices manual, and we've made that available, and it's published on the University of the Fraser Valley's website. And so it's available for individuals or corporations or construction companies. If they want to see what the best practices are, we can provide those. And if they follow those guidelines, I think they could reduce their risk substantially from having that building catch fire in its most vulnerable stages. The research has been funded through Canadian Wood Council, Natural Resources Canada. They've been commissioning the University of the Fraser Valley to do the work. We have a cadre of researchers, grad students who have been assisting us with us. And the next research question might be, are the taller cross-laminated timber buildings going to be as safe as any other high building? And I think that's an important question to answer. There's about 20 of them around the world right now, and I think there's enough there that we could probably answer that question. It doesn't matter what the building is made of. They're going to be equally as safe as any other. So it will provide options for development in our communities for concrete, for steel, for wood, or whatever they choose. The important thing to note is that wood is a big part of the British Columbia economy, so we need to support that. We know that wood is a renewable resource as opposed to some of the other materials, and so we should take all of those into consideration when we're choosing what we're going to build a building from, and that then becomes a matter of choice, economics, and livability.